What's up, guys? I'm coming to you with a sales video finally for July. Yeah, these are one of my favorite videos to do, honestly, but they just take me a while to get to them sometimes. Um, I don't, yeah, I like to do them at the first of the month after the month is done, but for some reason this month has just been hard to get to it. Anyway, I'm gonna get on with it. I will say that July I did really, really well. Uh, my normal eBay month looks like maybe 10 to 13, maybe 15 sales. I did 18 on eBay and 2 on Etsy. And August, although started out slow, I'm actually doing pretty similar. Maybe not as big as of sales. They're all smaller sales, but yeah, July I did great. There's also a lot of free stuff that I sold in July, which was crazy. Like I found just happened to be finding some decent stuff, and they all like sold fairly quickly. So it's kind of a unfair disadvantage for July, but yeah, I was just happy to make the money. Anyway, getting right into it, this is obviously a Starbucks mug. Everybody knows that mugs can do well. Not necessarily all of them, but this is actually a newer one. I think it came out last year, and the Louisiana one has like Louisiana stuff all over it. But what's crazy about this is that me and my husband go to karaoke like every weekend, or not weekend, every Wednesday that we can, and we walk there and back because we live within walking distance. And so there is a Starbucks kind of close to where we live, and I saw a Starbucks bag on the ground, and it looked like total trash. Like somebody had stuck a bunch of, Starbucks drinks that they had drunk and just put them in there and tossed it on the ground. But I decided to investigate because I'm a trash panda. So yeah, I went to the bag and I'm like, I'm sure there's trash in here, but let me just see what's in it. My husband's like rolling his eyes, like, oh God, this again. So I looked in, and there was the brown box. There's also like some tissue paper in there, and I was like, oh, well, I'm sure there's nothing in it, but let me open that. So I opened the brown box, and sure enough, there was a freaking Starbucks mug inside. So this was completely free to me. Um, yeah, I still didn't sell it that cheap, $30 with free shipping, and it probably cost, I put it in a padded flat rate, which it fit really well even with the box. I even put like the Starbucks bag that I found over it, so it had a lot of padding. And yeah, it sold 30 with $8, padded flat rate. And I did feel a little bad, like maybe this was a gift for someone and they were coming back to get it later, like in the morning, like they realized they dropped it or something. But I was also afraid of it ending up just like in the landfill or just being picked up as just trash and no one looking at it. So I definitely just didn't want to leave it on the grass. It was on the grass of like a government building. It was just a crazy find. One of the weirdest free finds I found to date, for sure. Anyway, next one is okay, also a free find. I've always said my neighborhood is just really good about leaving stuff out that they don't want, and I have found two working Wii consoles to date, just out on the curb, free to anyone. And the second one that I found came with a bunch of games. Most of them weren't like decent games, but both of these Zeldas were there. Now, I sold them on the cheaper end. I mean, they sold within like the day of me even listing them. I should have probably put them for 30, maybe even 35. But the reason I didn't, I thought it might be a harder sell for that much because, let's see, Twilight Princess was missing the manual, and the Skyward Sword was missing the soundtrack, which originally went in it. So I just wasn't sure. But yeah, it sold so fast, like it didn't even matter. Yeah, so I probably could have made a little bit more money out of it, but it was totally free. It was sitting on the curb. Just crazy. The people around here are insane. Anyway, so free into 25 plus shipping. All right, so these I have had a long, long time. I was probably overpricing them. I think I was trying to get 20 plus the shipping. Um, and I was just tired. I think I saw them after I moved. I saw them in a bag, and I was just like, I can't believe I still have these. Probably had them for at least a year. Bought them for $2 at a garage sale. I dropped the price to 14 plus shipping, and within a couple days they sold. It was really fast after I dropped the price, so I was so happy. And I guess I just thought they would sell for more because I thought they were really, really pretty. They're kind of unusual and not that common. They're nice, like wedge. They'd probably fit pretty comfortably. Cool striped. They had a couple of flaws, but they weren't like super visible. So yeah, I'm glad someone eventually bought them though. 2 into 14 isn't. I mean, it's not great, but I was happy to see him go. So this is another free find. I found it in my own home though. So this is a vintage Whole Foods bag that I've been having for the longest time. Pretty sure someone just gave this to me. I can't remember if it was my sister or my mother-in-law. No one said, "Hey, this is a vintage Whole Foods bag." It was just a bag. And one day I looked at the bag and I'd been using it for groceries and stuff. I was like, this is a really good bag, but I wonder if it could go for some money because I think it might be vintage. So I looked at the tag and it did say made in USA and this no forced labor, no child labor. Thought that was interesting. And I did not, and I was sure there'd be a million of these online on eBay, but I could not find a single one. It was weird. I'm like, am I the only one with this bag ever? So it had a couple flaws. I did wash it because I had used it for, groceries and whatever else. But yeah, this was a great bag. I was sorry to lose it, but I was also really happy to make 60 bucks. I was like, I thought 60 bucks was high. I thought like no way someone's going to buy it for $60. Um, and I was like, I will be happy to lose it for 60. And sure enough, within like the week, someone bought it. So if you see old Whole Food bag, I mean, um, a thrift store might not think they're anything. I certainly didn't. Also, yeah, some of these pictures aren't great. I can see my knee in one of them. I obviously did not catch that. Maybe I just didn't have it around long enough to look at that. Anyway, so free into 60 bucks plus shipping. It was great. This is a very, very old mug. I picked up at a garage sale for 25 cents. I tried to keep it at 15. It didn't drop the price too much. I think I tried to get 20 or 25 for it at one point because it's a Taylor and Ing mug. If you ever see these, they typically go well. This one, unfortunately, is not one of the better Taylor and Ing mugs. Usually the ones that go for more are, I know you're going to, some people are going to know what I'm talking about, but some people are going to think I am a weird pervert, but the like um orgy animal mugs, like it has animals all over it having an orgy. I wish I had a picture to put up right now, but yeah, just Google it. Those do really well, probably $25 range, maybe even more depending on how old it is. But this one was just a cow. But it was vintage 87. I knew someone would eventually want it, but it just took a little time. And so maybe even took a little over a year. And I did have to use some for this mug. I bought some barkeeper's friend and I got rid of a lot of the spoon marks in there. There's still a few left, but it cleaned it up really, really well. So if you have a mug that's worth a little bit and has all those silver gray spoon marks, it'll typically can't clean it up at least somewhat. So yeah, 25 cents into 15 plus the shipping. So this is another free find. It was with the Zelda games. When I picked this up, I swear to God, I did not think it was worth anything. And so it took me a long time to even list this. I thought maybe I would sell it with the console, which I still have sold neither console that I found. I still have two Wii's just sitting around. Um, but I was looking through my Wii games and I just decided to go ahead and just get rid of them. So I recomped this just on a whim and realized it was actually worth some money. So I don't know what I saw the last time I comped it when I first picked it up, but um, I don't remember it being worth any more than about $10. So either I was wrong the first time, or because the movie Godzilla came out, the movie had come out a little bit before I put this up. So I think that's what helped sell it. And also I put I put it on my TV just to show it was working. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. It depends on how quickly I want to move it. So yeah, free game into $30. Someone just threw this on the side of the road. You know, a bunch of crazy people around here. I'm also going to count this as a free item, even though technically I could assign some value to it. I found this inside of a DS Lite that I bought for $5 at a garage sale, which is a great price for a DS Lite. Um, I don't even think that I saw there was a Pokemon game inside of it. I saw that there was one game in it. I don't think you can really see it once they're like inside the little console. You have to kind of like push in for it to pop out. Um, so I bought it for $5. He didn't have a charger for it, but I decided to just take it for $5 and maybe buy a charger later. And yeah, but my husband, I didn't realize this, but this whole time he had a DS Lite at the house that he hasn't used in years, and he happened to have a charger. So I used that charger for the DS Lite, and I played this Pokemon game for weeks. I loved it. Like, I had never played a Pokemon game on the DS. I had always played them on like the Nintendo, like actual consoles. And I love those games, but for some reason I just never played like the RPG, and I just fell in love with it. Like, I had so much fun. I beat the game, and then a few weeks later, after I really, couldn't find anything else to do in the game, I sold it for $50 with free shipping, and it sold within a day. I thought 50 was a little bit high. Um, and a little tip for selling these, just make sure I'm assuming you'll know if they're authentic. They're not that hard to figure out. If you buy them from a garage sale, most of the time they're going to be authentic. If they look if the label's kind of fuzzy, they're not authentic. You can get them from China. You can get this game from China for like um, maybe $20. But if they're authentic, they sell for quite a bit more. So, and there's plenty of videos on YouTube that will show you how to know whether they're authentic or not, but I will always assume that uh, if I get it from a garage sale, maybe even a thrift store, that they're gonna be good. I would just look at the label really well. If it looks pretty much straight, then I'm good to go. And I played the game. Typically, the ones from China, the cheap ones, they're called repros. They're gonna like freeze on you. And I played this game from beginning to end and had zero issues. So I was not concerned about that at all. Anyway, yeah. So I paid $5 for the DS and got the Pokemon game as a bonus. So yay. This was okay. Unfortunately, I can't remember if I paid $1 or $2 for this game, but I want to say it was $1. And I was a little disappointed because I just picked this up because it was Mario and Sonic. I'd never heard of. I'm not really, really too familiar with Wii games. I didn't have one until I picked one up on the side of the street. Oh, I'm getting some water. But yeah, I picked it up, and also I thought that it was interesting that it was in a Blockbuster case, and I learned a valuable lesson that day. I learned that if they're in a Blockbuster case, pick it up because if I just had the disc and I sold it just disc only, this game would probably be worth maybe $5 to $7 if I remember correctly. So that's why I was initially disappointed. I was like, I don't have the original case or manual. But this Blockbuster case gave it a little bit more value. Now, I didn't sell it for 15. Someone in Canada shot me a best offer for 12, which I took, and I sent to Canada. So it wasn't a terrible sale, but just just as a lesson, just because you see it in a Blockbuster case. In fact, the Blockbuster cases give it more value because people are nostalgic for these cases. So, next one is, okay, if you've been following me for a while, you might have seen this before. So, I bought two of these shirts at a costume sale that like a film company was doing, and I bought so much good stuff. I wish I would have bought more, but at the time I just wasn't as well versed in like vintage clothing and stuff, so I just bought a few interesting items. But this had a bunch of like cartography or like hiking visuals on it, and which made it really cool looking, like very color block. And I sold this one on Etsy, but realized it had a hole. I told the person it had a hole in it, and they came back to me, or I asked them if they would like the other shirt that was just slightly different. Same patterns and everything, but like the color blocks were in different places. They took that one for, I think I sold it for 70. And then so I put this one up for 80 after not listing it for a long, long, long time. I disclosed it was just a tiny, like, pinhole area, and there was maybe just, like, tiny little stains on it from age. But not really a big deal to me, but to someone else, like, this could be a big deal. So, someone gave me an a offer for $40, and I took it because, like I said, I didn't have it listed after that Etsy thing for a long time, for several months. When I finally put it up, I was just happy to not see it around. So 40, oh, I bought it for $4. And I wish they would have that costume sale again because I would pick up so much stuff. Anyway, okay, VHS sale. I love VHS, and I've recently saw someone talking about VHS, and they were like, it's just too much of a long-term thing. Um, you might be sitting on it for like ever, but that's not always the case. I picked this up. It was an anime. I put it up for $15, and it sold within 1 week, and that's a really good sell-through. So don't. I mean, it's like anything. I can pick up a video game, and it will sit for months and months. I mean, it just depends on what it is. Just because it's a VHS doesn't mean it's going to sit around forever. I mean, I would say in most cases, maybe that's true, but it's just like any other item. So I bought this for uh, 30 cents because my local Goodwill was just trying to get rid of a lot of their VHS. And so yeah, I bought it for cheap and flipped it within the week for 15 plus the shipping. Okay, another VHS. Now, this did sit for a little while, but that's also because several of these are fairly common items. Now, like The Day the Earth Stood Still is a common. Nightmare on Elm Street is fairly common, although it does have that media label. If you ever see that media label, it's worth a little bit more than just a regular VHS media. Oh, gosh. Okay, stop. Uh, it it's usually on the bottom there. Yeah, so the ones that were super rare in this lot were the House and Sorority Row. All this was a reproduced well, okay, this was like the cover on it is not the original. So that may have affected its value, but this is a fairly rare VHS to find, and the Gorgon is also a little bit rare. Not impossible though to find. But all of these I found at Goodwill at one time and lotted up these four, and they took a little while, several months, maybe close to a year. I cannot remember. I want to say I picked these up early, or late October or early November of last year, and they sold in July. So, but they don't take up that much space, and I just didn't want to lower the price on this because I knew a couple of them were rare. So yeah, plus the shipping, and I got these for about 50 cents a piece, so $2 into this. Okay, next one is, okay, this is more Lego sales. In June, I sold a couple of these minifigures from a Lego set for Lord of the Rings. I initially put up the whole set for $25 on Facebook Marketplace. Nobody wanted it. Only one person bid, and he wanted me to ship it. I said no, and I just took it down, and I decided to just sell the minifigs, and the minifigs have done so well for me. Like, I've sold the Frodo. Oh, this sold for 30, not 40, but I took an offer. So this sold for 30. I just sold a Frodo for 10, I believe. I sold another one from the set for like 9, another one for 12. So that's a good, what, 50, let's see, 20, like $60 from something I was going to sell for 25. And that's just the minifigures. Like, I still have the actual Legos. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those. I might just put them up for like a cheap lot. Um, but yeah, we'll see. I haven't listed them yet. So yeah, 30 plus the shipping for just like two wraith, what are they called? Ring wraiths and the horses. Okay, sorry about that edit, but I started sneezing and couldn't stop. It often happens. So, if I start sneezing, it's just like never ending. Anyway, okay, so yeah, it's just some dinosaur stickers from the 90s, Fox Kids Club, and Wendy's, and these sold within like a day. 10 $10 with free shipping, and which really surprised me. I have some other stickers up from that same sticker album that I got at a thrift store. I showed it in a thrift haul recently. But yeah, I definitely paid too much for the stickers, but I knew what I was doing. I just kind of wanted it for nostalgia's sake. But I got some of my money back already just in one day, and I'm sure some of the rest of them will sell. So I'm not, certainly not sweating it. And I'm also giving some away as like gifts because like the 90s are hot. So, yeah, these were fun to sell, especially in one day. Next item is my favorite of all the month. It was a Harry Potter plate. I almost didn't go to this garage sale where I found this. And then when I got there, I realized like the guy was obviously a reseller. He had a storage facility. I think he also sold on eBay, but he just had like tons of stuff he had picked up, I guess, like on clearance. It was a super hot warehouse, and I was like dying to get out of there. But the very last minute, I picked up some stuff that wasn't that great. It was like kind of mess stuff. And then I saw this on a table with a bunch of other glassware, and it still had the like a sticker that said $1 on there. And I said, "Hey, can I have that for $1?" And he was like, okay, sure." I think he had picked it up himself for $1 at a garage sale, and then like forgot to take the sticker off, and like maybe just decided to get rid of it. I'm not sure, but it sounded like he didn't really want to sell it for $1, but he did. So, um, when I saw the back of this, I knew it might be something special. I didn't know anything about Johnson Brothers, but saw that it was made in England. It was Harry Potter, Harry Potter stuff. Uh, some of it does do okay. So, and like dishware made in Europe, um, not always a safe bet, but just the two of them together, like, made this something that I thought might be something cool. I looked it up when I got home and didn't see a whole lot, so I wasn't sure what to price it at. I saw a couple people pricing it at like trying to auction it off for 80 something, and I don't think I saw any sold. I don't remember. But other people were selling Johnson Brothers Harry Potter stuff for really good prices. It was just kind of hard to find this cake plate. And so I thought, well, I'll put it up for 120 and see what happens. And I thought it was going to be a really long tail thing. I thought maybe it would sell for Christmas. It sold within the month for $120. I didn't put best offer on it because I just wanted to see how it would do. And that ended up being the smart thing to do. So awesome. Like, it was a little bit of a pain to ship because I was just afraid it would break. I don't like shipping breakables too often, but it was worth the risk on this. Okay, this only sold for $9. Fortunately, I got it for free. My dad at one point was just picking up stuff to give to me to sell, and he found this at a Goodwill. I don't remember how much he paid, but he gave it to me for free, and it took like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. It had a ton of watchers, and I just kept dropping the price and dropping the price. And finally, this guy offered 8, and so I countered like 10. He countered 9, like a weird price, like 907 or something, and I just took it. I had this for way too long. So, yeah, I don't know if I would pick these up in the future, but I thought it would do really well because it was WWF. It was from 2002, so not quite vintage, but this this is the last year that WWF was around. After 2002, they went to the WWE because I guess they were being sued during this time by the worldwide um, uh, what is it, the Animal Federation or whatever. So yeah, this was a pretty good sell. I got this at Goodwill for $1. I always look up sealed CDs, and Neil Diamond is very popular singer-songwriter. Also, I don't like putting my fingers in pictures. I think I just accidentally didn't crop that out. Just, if you're new, I wouldn't do that. I try not to. But yeah, it sold for 20. So $1.20, not bad at all. Next item is this cool trucker jacket. Did take a while to sell. I did not get 50. I got, oh, how much did I get on this? I got 40 on it. Plus shipping to Thailand. And it had some flaws. The patch was kind of messed up, but it took like months, and I think I found this in January or February, and thinking it would do pretty well, but it was a small E. If you find the big E, definitely pick that up because you're rich. um, but it had like it had holes in the front where they tried to take out the name. I don't know if Goodwill does that or if they did that when they donated it. Southern University Lab School on the back. And, but, I mean, the guy from Thailand seemed to really like it. He gave me good feedback, so it was all worth it. And I bought this for $4. I'm surprised they didn't put, I don't know, I guess Goodwill doesn't really know their Levi's jackets, but I I bought this as an experiment to try to find out more about Levi's jackets because I didn't know anything, and I did learn quite a bit. Like, if you see that there's no pockets on this, it's like pre 1984 or 85. So I I thought this might be late 70s. It could be early 80s, but I just wasn't sure. So I just put 70s on it, and if they didn't believe me, then they could just not buy it. So, next item is a cuddly Kathy. She was from the 60s. I got, I did get 40 on it, plus, oh, so I send everything that is international myself. However, this did not get taken out of the global shipping program. I guess it was just left on the listing. Um, or both of them were available and they chose global shipping. I don't know why they would choose that, but my theory is that I just accidentally didn't take it off of this one. Some old dolls can be really creepy, but I thought this one had a really pretty face. Um, Super cute. One of those ones that closes her eyes when she lays down, and had a lot of accessories with her. I don't know if all of these accessories were her originals, but I just included everything that was in the box, and she had a cute little outfit. It took a long time to sell her, but I did get this for free. I was at a garage sale where I knew the lady that was having, oh, I knew her son, and I told her, I was like, "Oh, hey, I know your son." And she insisted on giving me this for free because I told her I bought retro toys or vintage toys, and to her, like, this is vintage, but I tend to buy more like 80s and 90s stuff, but she didn't know that. Um, so I couldn't turn her down, and I just ended up taking it. I didn't know really what to price it at, so I had it at 80 for a long time, and it just wasn't selling. I had it on Etsy too. It had a lot of attention, I had a lot of watchers, but nobody was buying it. And then, of course, like the day after it sells, someone messaged me and said, "Hey, did that cute little doll sell?" And I said, "Yeah, it just sold yesterday." So it's like the second time I've got someone saying like, "Hey, did this sell?" Like they wanted to buy. I'm like, "You had months to buy this. Why didn't you buy it then? It was on eBay for forever." Okay, so now we're into the Etsy sales. This is just a pumpkin that I got last year with a bunch of other blow molds. I could tell he was a little bit more vintage than most. If you see most of these at like the thrift store, they're gonna be your like basic just 80s, 90s, even 2000. I think they still make similar ones to this day, but because of like the indentations in his eyes, he's obviously an older pumpkin. I would say 60s. And he had a like a metal handle. I don't know if that was fashioned there uh later or if it was a replacement, but it didn't seem like a replacement to me because of the insides. So, and it was rusted out and everything. It just it was obviously pretty gold. It did take a long time to sell. But and I maybe I had this at $20 at one point, but I lowered it to 10. Person bought it, and she paid like over $10 for shipping, so it sold for 10 plus the shipping. All right, next, well, if okay, so if I had to assign a price that I paid for this, so I bought for $30 four blow molds, so whatever the math is on that, like like maybe $8 into it. So, but I sold like one thing out the gate from that blow mold sale, so that paid for all of them. So I'm just assigning this as like 0. Anyway, okay, so I bought these at a church sale. Always be looking for Halloween stuff at church sales because they don't value them. Um, at least around here, they always like stick them in a box under a table or like put, 10, 25 cents on them. But then like Christmas stuff is like 2, 3, $5. So, yeah. Love going to the church sales to find Halloween. This sold for $80. I bought these for 50 cents or 25 cents a piece. I should probably not have sold them as a set, though. I thought they would sell better as a set. It didn't take that long. It only took a few months to sell, but they were very, very difficult to ship together because they couldn't be smushed. Uh, they had to go in like kind of a large box, and the box that I originally had for them hit what's called dim shipping. So I was going to pay like 40 something dollars for shipping when before when I originally put these up it was like normal, like maybe $15. So the person paid shipping on this. So I think they paid like $84. So these sold for 70. Sorry. Um, and I still would have made a lot of profit shipping them for 40 something, but I tried just what I did instead was I Frankenboxed them, like I shortened the box, and it went under 20 inches. So if it goes like 20 inches by something, it hits dim shipping, which is dimensional shipping. So I almost lost a lot of money on this, but I learned a lesson, and I didn't hit dim shipping. So I mean, yeah. But if you see these, they're called bumpkin pumpkins, and they are Bayshore. If you see blow molds that don't have a maker on them, they're usually Bayshore. I mean, I can't guarantee that for every single one, but they're generally Bayshore. And sometimes they'll have a tag that'll say that on there, but usually they're missing their little tag because it's paper. Anyway, that's all of my sales. That's 20 sales. I'm hoping I can make 20 for August as well. We've only got a couple more days. But yeah, hopefully I can make it. Thanks for watching and for getting through this whole video. I know it's kind of long, but I just have to tell all the stories for each and every item. Anyway, again, thanks for watching. Bye.